Welcome everyone, my name is Lady Alex, and this is Say What with Lady Alex. Today I will be talking to you about a few of my passions and why I created this podcast. Aside from my photography and my many craft projects, my true passions lie with gaining knowledge and sharing it with people to help make a growing and positive community. Paula Roelands is in the studios today, and we are diving into how she has created a life helping others to stress less in their everyday life. A life coach and avid adventurer, Paula Roelands is a true professional and is living her best stress-less life. Let's hear all about the great tips on how we can all live just a little more grateful and a lot less stress. Welcome back, everyone, to the Say What podcast. Today in the 27 studios, we have a wonderful woman with us. Her name is Paula Roelands. She's going to tell us about all the wonderful things that she does, balancing her entrepreneurial career, her many remodels of her wonderful home, and adventures that she goes on every year. Welcome, Paula.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for coming in. So tell me, what is life like for Miss Paula Roelands? Seems like you get to do a lot of really cool things.
Well, we've been on the road a bit this year.
Yeah.
The first 6 months, 7 months of this year, we are gone a lot.
I know.
I think out of this last couple of months, I think we've been on the road for 3/4 of it.
Really?
Yeah.
And how has that been?
It's been quite an adventure.
Yeah?
So a bunch of flights and some good adventures in the Himalayas.
That is so interesting. And so I saw on your Facebook, did you guys hike all the way to the top?
We did not make it all the way to Everest Base Camp. We had 2 of our 3 party, not me, fortunately. I think I was the most prepared.
Yeah.
But 2 of our party got some extreme mountain sickness.
Oh, no.
So we had to go down just one stop before we got to Everest Base Camp in Kalabatar.
Yeah.
But we made it up to about 16.3, 16.4.
That's incredible, and that's a lot more than most people get to say.
Right. Yeah.
So that's an
Gave us a couple
feat.
extra days to go adventure some other places we hadn't planned on being too.
Oh,
so.
that's cool. Opens up some new, awesome things to do. That's incredible.
Got to sing the Kathmandu song a little longer in Kathmandu.
That's wonderful. So what has you going on all of these wonderful trips? Just some personal self-care, some...
I've got a couple of them are conventions
Okay.
for business. One is a training for business, and a couple of them are trips to home base back in Michigan, where we hail from, because we've got some adult kids there, and I do some business there too.
Oh, very
The nice
nice
thing about what I do is that as long as I have an internet connection, I can kind of work wherever I want, which is beautiful.
Wonderful. Yeah.
One of those time freedom, travel freedom kind of
Yeah.
things. Didn't work quite as well in Nepal, but you do what you can, right?
Right.
It's definitely
Struggle
worth the
through
trade-off.
it. Yeah, for sure.
And then, a couple of bucket list trips.
That is so wonderful. Just get to check them off the list
Yep.
there, huh?
Yeah, got another one coming up at the end of the month and the middle of June, and then again in July.
Look at you.
I think I'm free for August.
You're just traveling the world. What a wonderful inspiration that is, to be able to, pick up and go see all these wonderful
not the lifestyle
places.
we used to have, but
No.
it helps to be an empty nester. And the way that I've designed my business to be, I have the flexibility to do that. That was one of the things when I reorchestrated my career. One of the top priorities for me was the flexibility of schedule.
That is wonderful. Now tell us a little bit about what you do.
Oh, let's see. What do I do?
It's hard. I know. Us as women, we wear so many hats.
So the funny thing, I talked about this the other day with somebody, is I actually have a degree as an interior designer. And instead, and I've done landscape design, but instead really what I do is I help people redesign their lives now.
Okay.
So to redesign their health and their lives.
That is wonderful.
So I do that. I call myself a health coach, but it's really more holistic than that. So it has a lot to do with life.
Okay.
And just balancing out where the stresses are in your body and your lifestyle, and try to blend those so that they're not so stressful.
That is, because I know, especially as a young entrepreneur, it's hard to manage having children, starting a business, also eating healthy and making sure that I have time to work out.
Yeah, and it's not just about the movement. It's not just about the food. It's also about how do you use your time? How healthy is your relationship? How healthy is your environment? Is it emotionally toxic? Is it physically toxic? All kinds of things like that. What's your career like? How does it serve you? Are you living out your purpose in life? Because if you're not, you actually are living in some dissonance with your body. Your body picks that up, and you actually are more vulnerable to disease.
Oh my gosh!
So,
really?
and that creates inflammation, and the inflammation is what starts to create that disease even more. The dis-ease into disease, and you're sick.
Yeah, there's
a lot of, it's not just physical, it's emotional, and it's psychological as well. So there's a big blend. It gets pretty gray. It doesn't fit all in one box. So sometimes they have a tough time kind of explaining. People say, "Oh, just tell us what you do in a nutshell." It's a really big nut.
That's awesome, though.
Or maybe I'm just a really big nut.
Hey, we all are, I think. I know for me personally, that would be having you coach me like one-on-one, or would that be I take like a course with you? How would that go about starting that?
I offer 3 different types of ways to engage better in your health, and it's really all about creating a deeper, closer relationship with your body.
Okay.
Just kind of understanding the language of your body. A lot of people don't even know the language of their body. When they have symptoms, your body's trying to tell you something.
Right.
So I have the easy step in for people who are really not ready to jump in with both feet and both hands, and the deep work and the commitment to that.
Yeah.
Maybe, people want to feel better and they're used to the way our culture is of just taking a pill. Well, I work with some really safe and very effective herbal supplements.
Okay.
And those have been very transitional for a lot of people in health. That's an easy step in without having to do a lot of big life changes.
Okay.
So it's the health light.
Right.
And then I also offer an online membership program, and that's a fixed fee, and it's a sliding scale based on what affiliation you have. If you are already working with some of the supplements, you get a discount on the price. If you are working with me as a business partner, you get a better discount on the price. And then I have the regular full price too. But it's month to month. There's no long-term commitment. People step in as long as they want. And we have 6 to 8 live group calls on Zoom every month, and I'm having my website redone right now, so I will have a membership section in there for integration and for resources that are at the ready. And people are always able, if they're not able to make all those live calls, because it depends. There are different times of the day, but not everybody's available all the time. And I don't expect people to be able to take in all of them. They're going to choose what's going to serve them best.
Right.
And that's where their motivation is. So they have the opportunity of 6 to 8 of those per month, depending on what it is they want to work in with their lifestyle, or the emotional aspects of relationships, or finding the balance, or time management. There are themes, and then there's also a business aspect about maintaining that balance with career versus the rest of your life, and how to find space for all of that.
That's really wonderful.
And then the third option is a one-on-one in person, or it can be in person, meaning it's just you and me. But that can be by Zoom. I work with people all over the world.
Okay.
And it can be by Zoom, or it can be by phone, or if you're local enough, it can be in person too.
Right. And then you can just help. And
that's very customized.
Yeah.
And that's, some people come to me and initially they're like, okay, well, I want to lose weight. Well, weight is a symptom of some other issues.
Right.
Weight issues are a symptom of something else. So we usually get down and dirty to, all right, what's the root cause that's making your body hold on to that? What is your body telling you that it needs to be safe by holding that weight? So it can get pretty deep, but it's for me, it's a lot of fun. And usually I just did a little survey of some of my favorite clients on Monday, because I was working out an ad and like, what was it that made you choose working with me? And it was really rewarding to hear that it was as much fun for them as it was for me. And the surprises of, not that it was necessarily easy to do the work, but that they never felt criticized, they never felt judged, and even they learned that even making mistakes was a great learning opportunity to learn about themselves and to be able to grow further without feeling like they failed.
Yeah.
Because we take where things don't work, and that gives us information that helps us to go further for the growth.
Bare Elements Events, creating life's precious memories, one element at a time. Everything from planning events, providing talented DJs, or photographers trained to perfectly capture your life's moments. You'll receive personalized mementos you'll cherish a lifetime. For booking information, head on over to Facebook, Instagram, or bareelementsevents.com. Well, and I think, too, for a lot of people, especially like people like me, when I do fail, if I don't have someone at all helping to make me accountable, or I sometimes will fall off the wagon, I'll feel like a failure, and then what's the point? And then it goes a month down my demise, and then halfway there, I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah, and we do set goals, and the goals are shifting over time, just the way that we do.
Right.
And we aren't necessarily on time, and sometimes we usually only meet for the one-on-ones. We usually only meet once every 2 weeks, because that gives you time to do the work in between and get things assimilating. Because what you want for a result is something that's sustainable.
Yes.
Because what I like to tell people, that footprints in the sand thing.
Yeah.
They talk about, there's footprints in the sand and then you only see 2.
Yeah.
That's not me. So you may see 3.
That's you. You're carrying me because I'm making you carry me.
Oh, no. I don't do any more work than my clients do. I'll do up to the same amount that they will, but I walk alongside them. I'm their hiking partner on the trail to something better. And you might see 3 footprints once in a while when they're limping along and they need somebody to lean on. Yeah. But you're always going to be, having both feet on the ground at least part way. Yeah. Even if you're limping. And know that you've got the support.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I know that to be able to have that successful drive, sometimes you just need that extra support. And so it's nice to be able to have such a wonderful person to lean on who is also such an inspiration.
Well, there's usually a fee involved. I did learn early on that if people are not paying me to do some of the work with them, they don't have that external motivator to really have them show up to the table. Yes. And you're not going to see the difference if you don't show up. From the simple easy of taking a supplement, if you don't take it. Right. Obviously, nothing's different.
Nothing's changing.
If you don't do some of the work, you're not going to get a result. So the motivator of, oh yeah, I've paid for that. I may as well show up. I may as well use it. So that's the external motivator. And then we work on the internal motivators, and your body learns that it can trust you. And as it learns to trust you, it will start giving the signals that you can understand and respond to. And then you create that relationship, and then you have something sustainable. So by the end of our time, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. And that's the intuition going, this is so true. So usually by the end of I'll work with somebody ideally on a one-to-one basis for about 6 months. Okay. And during that time, there's 12 sessions. And that gives enough time for the synergy to come around. The first 3 months, most everything, all their goals are like, oh my gosh, I did it already. And this is great. They think, I'm done. Well, that's when life starts smacking you around. Right. And that's when you actually need the coach the most. That's when you get into the big leagues in the game if you're playing on a team. Yeah. And you get started smacking around and you're like, oh, I don't even know how to deal with this anymore. Okay, this happened to me once and I got there, but I don't know how to get back. Yep. So this is where you get to practice. So by the end of that 6 months, you have some sustainable tips, tricks, systems in place where it's not things you do, it's who you are. Yeah. And once you've turned into that who you are, that new who you are, that's something you have for a lifetime.
That's so incredible, because I know when you build those habits, it just becomes second nature. Mm-hmm. You don't even realize that it's happening.
Yeah. And by then, you've had that relationship with your body, so your body's like, this makes me really happy, and you're happy that your body's happy, so you work together on that. It's a team deal.
For sure, because I know, when you're sitting there eating Taco Bell for the 20th time and feeling ill because you got Oh, my stomach.
Oh, let's see, Taco Bell. Let's see, there's iceberg lettuce, a few onions, some hothouse tomatoes.
Maybe.
However, it's not the worst thing.
True. That is true.
Again, and that's another thing, and that we approach this without a lot of judgment. It's like, okay, this is where you are, taking you from where you are to the next step to better.
Right.
And the person getting the coaching, doing the work, hopefully most of the work, I'm there, but they're the ones who get to choose. It's funny because I'll have people come to me like, oh, I thought I was just going to get this diet list and I was going to just follow this thing for 6 weeks and I'd lose some weight or,
right.
I'd lose a few aches and pains. But it's so much more than that to the intrinsic parts of it that I'm not telling them what to do. Together, we're coming up with, I might go through the back door sometimes to get them to come up with some ideas of, all right, so if this is what you want to accomplish, then how do we get there? What's a step in the direction? And I can move them through some of those steps to something that's like, okay, that makes sense. I can step into that. I can make these baby steps, which may seem really tiny.
Yeah.
Try and do like 2 that aren't so tough, that they're very achievable. And one that's a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
Just to help gain the confidence that you can step into a stretch.
Oh, for sure.
And feel that and feel so accomplished.
Yeah.
When you're able to achieve it.
Yeah, because I know once you start with something and you've realized like, okay, now I can do it. Mm-hmm. So I've done this hard thing. Well, let's try doing another hard thing.
Because a lot of people come to me with experiences that have been failures for them.
Right.
So they have a very low self-esteem in some areas. Find it a lot with financial area. You don't think of finances when it comes to health other than paying your doctor's bills,
right?
Which is stressful. But finances are a huge source of like, what are the 2 big areas of dissonance in marriages?
Yeah, we fight about money.
So yeah, money.
It's like the majority of
parenting, fights. Religion. Those things are really tough areas. So there's a lot of stress in that area. So if that's something that you need to really work into to feel that, and a lot of people have really, really low, poor money stories about what they can achieve in their life and who they can become. So just expanding that is a huge thing for people to gain that sense of what the possibilities are that they never dared wish or hope for themselves.
Yeah. It's funny, too, talking to some women around here, I've noticed that it's pretty common to have this, limiting belief about yourself, and that's just life. Like, I know that I'm average, and that's okay. And it's so crazy to me that that's just taught to generation after generation.
And if you're happy, I had a fellow health coach actually said, because I post a lot of things about achieving and growing, and she says, well, what if you don't want to grow anymore? What if you're just happy where you are? I'm like, that's great.
Right.
If you're happy if you're truly happy where you are, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I'm here to help people who want a little bit more, a little bit better, a little less pain, or maybe a lot less pain, a lot more joy. They have something that they hope for. They don't know how to get there.
Right.
So I hope to be that light on the pathway and a crutch when they need it a little bit.
Right.
Again, I'm not carrying anybody. I have my own kids. I don't need more.
Right. I've already raised mine. Sorry.
Right.
That's awesome, though, because I know that, like you said, there are sometimes just a small, minute thing in this whole big life that we have that we just can't overcome, and it's only blocking this one little thing. And sometimes it's nice to be able to have someone to coach us through that.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize when they've put a wall in front of themselves.
Yeah.
They don't see it. It's just they're completely blind to it. And I say they, but we all have those. I have mine, and I have 3 coaches that I work with. One's a peer coach. The other 2 I pay very well because I really truly think that there's a high value in that.
Correct.
And I find that high value every single time that I work with my coach, and so that gives me a model and an experience from the other side of things, which is, I do a lot with inflammation. I do a lot with thyroid and endocrine system. I do a lot with gut health. And all those really are in a whole blanket of really autoimmune diseases.
Yeah.
And I have my own experiences. I had an autoimmune thyroid disease, and for a couple of weeks there, I really thought that, is this the end? Am I going to die? And I worked myself through a system and figured that out. So I've got the empathy aspect,
Right.
the being on the other side.
Okay.
And that's the same with having a coach.
Yeah.
You're being on the other side and you're getting that experience, and then you can take that and bring that around to be able to share and give what you've learned in that to other people.
Yeah, and quality knowledge, because you can connect with their story. That's really
and they're not the same stories.
right. No,
Everybody has their own experience, and like I tell everybody, that every single body is different. Every single body
Right.
is going to experience the process differently. It has other stuff, has a whole history of its own.
right.
And so that's individually. Now in the group coaching, I do have hot seat time, so we can address some of those idiosyncrasies, those little differences between people. But there are always some common aspects of that are applicable to pretty much everybody in their own way.
Right. Why go out when you can stay in? Lady Alex specializes in fun ladies' night in parties. Pick a craft, pick some drinks, and let's make it an adult house party you'll want to have over and over again. And I don't know about you, but word of mouth is the best form of flattery. So head on over to your favorite platform and let's be friends. You can find me on Instagram as @thereal_Lady Alex or on Facebook at Say What with Lady Alex Podcast. Let's connect. Hey podcasters, musicians, or anyone needing a commercial. Have you heard of 27 Productions? Steven is a legendary producer with a master's in music production. His vibrant vision creates a bright passion for what he does. His expertise ranges from album production with various artists, Say What with Lady Alex Podcast, and many more. Head on over to 27 Productions Facebook and Instagram, and let's record! Be sure to like and subscribe and contact us for booking information, or go to bearelementsevents.com. Now, I do know that you also are paired with a really awesome company, Life Vantage.
Yeah.
And I got the pleasure on Saturday before Mother's Day to get to enjoy some of those wonderful products.
I loved your before and after
I
pictures
know.
in just a matter of hours.
Just one day, one use. So it was incredible to actually get to see and try the products beforehand. And honestly, I personally didn't even fully comprehend until Miss Rebecca was really breaking down the science of the toxic things that are in our food and how they're actually punching holes in our cells. Because I know personally, I mean, I've gone, on a roller coaster of thin to thick, to thin to thick, and
I love seeing your process of going through that, exploring your own relationship with your body.
For sure.
And really, I feel like what I see in your work is that you are very tuned into your body.
I try to listen. I definitely have my own struggles, for sure.
We all do.
And honestly, I feel like the knowledge, the doing it, all of that, I'm on point.
Oh, it's so
the
funny.
The mind game that plays in my head.
You have the stories.
Yeah, and it's just like, I got to shut that mean girl up.
It's just like that, talking about that money story. You put in your head your worthiness and how you got there. And you may never know the deep down dirty of how that got in there, because the same experience when you were 3 that you had, that your sibling had at 3, that what came out of your parents' mouth, you took to mean something completely different than what your sibling got out of it and what your parent intended.
Right? Oh, for sure.
So we create our own stories.
Yeah, the perception is reality, because there have been times where I'm like, Mom, this happened. And she's like, that did not happen.
Right.
And I'm like...
But going back to that supplement, that company, Life Vantage, the science is really incredible. And that's it. The first 3 years that I was coaching, I was kind of looking at, I know this residual income is a great idea. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually really loving that, the stability with the coaching. It's just beautiful. And I I do suggest that to some of my clients that I'm working with as a possibility, just to open up the idea of the concept of what more is there? How could I possibly do that? I don't have a college education, or, I'm destined to clean houses the rest of my life, or this manual labor thing, and, I'm getting carpal tunnel, or, my back is bad. I'm just going to be poor the rest of my life. So getting through some of those things.
Right.
But the science behind this product and the do no harm aspect of the supplements and the amount of change that I have witnessed in people in helping to reduce inflammation and helping the health of their gut and helping to start to remove some of the symptoms that are showing up by reducing that inflammation, just in expanding the amount of oxidative stress, addressing the oxidative stress by the antioxidants that your body can now create again, that it's been beautifully designed to and just doesn't anymore as we age. To bring that back is amazing. To bring back the full function of the mitochondria is amazing for the energy, for the sleep. So it's just incredible how the science backs this up, so that I feel very sound in recommending it to people. Very, very few people do we have any issues with. It's kind of a do no harm. It doesn't conflict with other medications. It's not a medication. It is publicly traded, which is really nice for the accountability of the company.
For sure.
So they can't make any claims that are not true. They don't make claims of healing or curing any disease because supplements can't do that legally. And they'd actually prefer to continue on as a supplement rather than any kind of a pharmaceutical, because then you're under so many regulations. They're patented. They have 25 scientific peer-reviewed studies on PubMed, which is what doctors go to for their resources to see if something is a valid treatment. So I feel really good about working with people in conjunction with that as one of the ways to address health issues.
Well, and it's kind of hard not to, try and get that added income, because you're already promoting the company because you love the product so much. And in this age of the rise of social media, it's hard not to be able to easily sell such a wonderful product when you're like, oh my gosh, I have to shout about this because it's literally amazing.
It was very funny because when I had been taking of the two of their products, the natural ingredients, the herbs that were in them, I had been taking 5 of those independently through the functional med doctor I was working with. And I looked at that and talked to Dr. Rebecca and said, well, so what have you got for thyroid? He says, you're just going to have to try it. I don't have any specific anecdotal firsthand experiences, but she says, do no harm, just try it. And I just jumped in. I was really desperate. I had been terribly sick for 4 months. I was not able to move my business forward. I put everything on hold. Within a month, I had been spending over $300 a month on those supplements. Within a month, I was off all of them and just taking these. And in a month's time, my healing accelerated. I felt amazing. And the best thing, when you were talking about that, it made me think the best thing was I couldn't help sharing it because I had signed up. I thought I'm going to jump in as a distributor because I've kind of been looking at it. And if it works out, great. I have a good story. If it doesn't work out, well, I'm only out for this. And it's still good for me. It's still guaranteed by their testing to reduce my oxidative stress by 100% in 30 days.
And if I'm not helping other people,
or not 100%, by 40% in 30 days.
And at least I'm helping myself if I'm not helping others.
But by the second week, people were actually coming up to me going, oh my gosh, what happened to you? You have so much energy. And I was like bouncing and excited. and then when they infuse the same kind of activators, the cellular activators, into the skincare, I was a guinea pig because I like being a guinea pig. I always try myself on things first. So I'm going to try this skincare. So I did. I put the skincare on half of my face for 6 weeks.
Really?
And the other half of my face, I was using a natural herbal skincare for $140 a month.
Ooh.
This was $150 for a 3-month supply.
Oh, wow.
So I thought, well, and it's all herbal. Within 6 weeks, actually, within the first 2 weeks, again, I was having coffee, 3 people in a row the same week says, oh my gosh, I think you're getting younger. Or, oh my gosh, I can't believe how good your skin is. And every time I got that feedback, I just like giggled a little bit more and got more enthusiastic. So it's been really fun to work with that.
Okay.
I was very concerned at first that I would be compromising my integrity as a health coach. And I didn't want to be that coach, the one who said, "Oh, well, as long if you're working with me, then you're going to take these supplements." And I don't do that.
Okay.
It's always an option, and
right.
and I'm very particular about when I bring that up. If I bring that up with people, when it makes sense.
Right.
A lot of times it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I try not to. Again, everybody is different.
Right. Don't forget to like and subscribe to hear more about how amazing our local female community is in challenging themselves to make an incredible place to live. Next week, we have an awesome opportunity to chat with maybe you, so be sure to come back and hang out with us again. Well, and like we said before, it's hard not to know something can help someone, and they're telling you all these things that are ailing them, and you're like, just take this and it'll be all fixed. So
but if they're paying me for coaching, it's going to accelerate their progress.
Yeah.
So they're actually going to be getting a ton more out of it. And that's like for the online program that I have, the membership program. People who are customers, they get the discounted rate because it's my way of, they're already paying money.
Right, to be with you.
Well, they're paying money for the
product already, yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
So if I offset some of that, so they get coaching to go along with that for not that much more, they actually can save money from the full price by getting some product too that's going to help them accelerate their healing, can't claim healing.
Okay.
But accelerate their improvement in their health.
Okay. That's really incredible.
And the improvement in how they feel.
Yes. Now I know we're all kind of waiting to hear the end of that story. How did your face turn out at the end of the 6 weeks? Well,
I kind of was copying. There's a gentleman who they have a before and after picture, and he was the before and after picture because he did half of his face for like 3 months.
Oh wow!
And he actually went to the barber, and the barber thought he had had a stroke.
Oh my god!
Because one side of his face was so saggy and the other was so lifted up. So with me, it was going to be for 4 weeks, and then another one of our adventures, we were going to Aruba, and everybody started, within 3 weeks, everybody was coming up to me going, "Oh my gosh, your face. I can see the difference. This is crazy. We got to have a spa party so we can show this to people." Yeah. And then, of course, Dr. Rebecca, who is a plastic surgeon, could talk about my face and all the proper terms and everything, which I don't know. And then there's a nasal labial fold and all these things.
Yeah.
But
this crease here.
Right. Yeah, I could point to it. So I said, well, I'm going to be in Aruba, so I can do it after 6 weeks. So I'll extend it. I got back 5 days after I got a sunburn.
Uh-oh.
And I got a sunburn on the very top, like the hairline. Just a skinny one, but it really hurt. Of course, the sun is pretty intense down in Aruba.
Yeah.
Well, I had been using the skincare on that one half of my face, and I cheated a little bit. On that little thin line that was all the way across my forehead, right by my hairline, I put the number 4, the anti-aging cream on the line the whole way across.
Yeah.
So, flash forward. Well, the next morning, the burn line was gone.
Wow.
No pain. It was amazing. It was like it never ever happened.
That is incredible.
I felt great about that. So 5 days later, I am back, and it's the spa party day, and I wake up and go into the bathroom and look in the mirror, and the half of my face that I'd been taking care of, that I'd been treating with the new skincare, was fine. Right. The other half, the top edge where that hairline burn was peeling. And I thought, oh, shoot, I can't even rub the little dead skin off because I'm going to the spa party. I'm going to get to show this. So I got to walk around there and show people up close. People had washed they were all going to try the skincare, so they'd all washed their hands. So I had them actually pat both sides of my face.
Because it felt different.
And they could see, even from the back of the room, they could see the difference. But really? So I made them guess. And we went out of the room, didn't give any hints, and every single person had no problem guessing which side of the face. So it took about 3 months for the other side to catch up because I did not stop on the happy side.
Oh, yeah.
The not so happy side was pretty anxious for me to start, though, I tell you.
I bet.
So
your
it's
skin
kind of
on
fun.
this side, you're just like, oh man, I just want both sides to feel so good.
I had been looking at my face, and I had seen what I call the jowl look. That, menopausal women particularly have that kind of a sinking of the cheeks a little bit on the sides. And they kind of have that, that little section. It almost looks like a mannequin.
Yeah.
With a little talking chin thing. And I could see within just a couple weeks, I could see the lift on the one side.
Really?
And I love looking in the mirror now. Frankly, I never, I'm 59. I didn't even take care of my skin at all until I was in my mid-40s.
Oh, really?
So it's kind of fun to see that I got a reprieve.
Yeah.
Because I thought, it's way too late for me.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. Well, and that's the lesson. It's never too late. I've had clients in their 70s before.
Really?
And it's really never too late. And women who have had menopausal symptoms that have lasted into that age.
Right.
That's a long time to be suffering with something that is not working as well as it could be.
Yeah.
So it's really fun to see what the possibilities are.
Well, that's so incredible. Now, with that, I know with the party, it was a face. It was, you could also take the supplements like you talked about, and they just started doing a wonderful hair product, right?
Yep.
So basically, you do the mind, you do the body, you do all of it.
So it's really, I like to think, it maybe sound a little woo, but I like to feel like it's soul work to me.
Yeah.
Because you're really growing into your becoming.
Yeah.
And you don't know who you're going to become, but if you get a part in deciding what that is, how beautiful is that?
That is incredible. And I really, truly think that that's kind of what we're all striving for, is to be able to live that most authentic self.
Yeah.
So.
And I have enough experience now that it's not an easy road to travel. It's a fun road to travel. It's interesting, and there's some creativity involved. So I have a lot of energy. I get a lot of energy back from people because as they get their ahas, you can just see them blooming. It's like planting a seed and watching it sprout and grow into this amazing blossom.
But as a human being, it's not just a plant in your little garden.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
Lasts
awesome.
a lot longer than a flower.
Awesome. So what do you have in mind? What are some life goals for your next 5 years?
Oh my goodness. I really love the track that I'm on now. My income has tripled in the last year. Nice. So that feels very abundant, and stepping into that abundance, I'm really focusing personally on I have my own money stories, so I'm really focusing personally, very intentionally this year, stepping into that very actively and owning that and changing that story.
Yeah.
And that is including travel. My plan is to spend a lot more time in Michigan as well as Colorado.
Okay.
At least probably six weeks a year in Michigan, and have the fluidity to have a couple of big trips a year that are adventure trips.
Oh yes.
Because that's really getting down into Nepal is a third world country. It took me a couple days to convince my daughter that was the truth. She says, no, Mom, because they, I think of people who don't have like clean running water. Like, hello, have you seen a washer and dryer anywhere here? No.
Well,
have you seen where they get their water? From the black PVC pipe coming out of the middle of the pathway, highway, street that's a dirt trail.
Sometimes privilege can blind you.
Right. Have you seen the bathrooms or not that we've been
the
using?
lack of bathrooms.
Have you noticed they don't use toilet paper?
Yeah.
So going into those places and just getting grounded in that experience and what is really real. For me, a lot of it's outdoor adventures. Cities are okay.
Yeah.
For a couple of days, and then I want to get out in the country and
sick of the people and the crazy.
Feel the nature and the stone and the trees, and do
be down to earth. I love it.
The forest walking.
Yes. get in nature with the flora and the
Well,
fauna.
there's actually a magnetic resonance with that, an energetic resonance.
For sure.
And that's where your body gets reconnected. It's just like plugging ourselves in just like a phone.
Yeah, recentered, for sure. I know hiking for me
Only you
is
never
something.
run out of charge if you use the ground. and we don't get zapped from it either. Unless it's lightning, but that's a whole different story.
Too true. Well, Miss Paula, where can we find you?
Well, you can find me at my website at paularoelands.com.
Okay.
Or Wellness Worthwhile or Paula Roelands Health Coaching on Facebook. I am on Instagram too. I think I'm just on Paula Roelands on Instagram.
Okay.
I usually I feed myself every morning with the sunrise. So that's where I get my energy boost. And so I usually try and at least put in a sunrise picture.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Start the day. So you'll find that. Yes. Not sure that that's really like totally coachy oriented.
But it's still beautiful.
But so that's where I play. Most of my play is on Facebook. I do have a Facebook group, Release and Energize, that people are welcome to join. It's no cost to join that. And
excellent, just building that community.
Yeah, and that's a place where it's a little more dialogue, and we'll put some programs in there as I decide to roll one out just to try it out. And
oh, nice.
They're my guinea pigs.
That's
my willing guinea pigs.
That is so cool, though.
So
I
it's
bet
a place
they
to
enjoy
play
that.
and ask questions, and that's where our groups are a little bit easier to find the resources. But I do put a lot of resources out, and I do Facebook Lives on Mondays and on Fridays. Oh. Mondays are usually food related, and Fridays are usually lifestyle related. Perfect. I usually do those at around 8:15 Mountain Time in the morning. Mostly consistently, but very humanly. I can be late occasionally.
That's
or we get those technology fails, and then
Oh yeah, where you're like, no, I was on time.
It didn't exactly work out great when we were in Nepal, but it was all right.
Yeah, but still, I saw there was still some video footage and stuff, so that's really incredible. Well, thank you so much for stopping by and telling us about all these wonderful, your products that you support and how we can find you to help better our lives.
Yeah, and one of the things for people to know, a lot of people, they don't really know how to step into this or what it's going to look like. So I always offer a free initial consult.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So people can connect with me through Messenger on Facebook, or they can connect on me through my website and set something up to just have a conversation. There's no commitment. It's just getting a feel of what's possible for you.
Right.
With your own unique circumstances, and feel if that's a good fit, and then see how you want to do it, because there's a bunch of different ways to do it.
Now, with that, what tip would you give, those listeners who are just a little bit too timid to take that risk factor, to jump into the work?
To get them to jump into the work?
That they want to, but it's just right out of their comfort zone. What would you say to tempt them into that?
I would tell them to inhale and take a long, slow, deep exhale. Trust what they feel and make the connection.
That is amazing.
And show up for themselves.
Yes.
Because everybody deserves to show up for themselves.
That is incredible. I think that is a great story. Thank you so much for stopping by, Ms. Paula.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yes. Are you a rock star female of Western Colorado who's constantly working your butt off to achieve your goals? Would you like a chance to tell Lady Alex and your friends about your passions? Big or small accomplishments, I'm calling all awesome moms, bosses, wives, and all-around lady bosses out to be on the new Say What podcast with Lady Alex. Finally stop trying to make yourself smaller and spotlight all your accomplishments that make you a rock star role model of the week. You can apply on Facebook at Bare Elements, subject line Podcast Opportunities. When we think about stress and living a stressed life, what comes to mind is just adulthood. I mean, am I right? Living on your own and being solely responsible for your financial well-being and making sure that you're balancing that work and play, it's an exciting adventure. Then you throw in a couple kids, some unexpected financial hardships, and boom! You're sucked into the hole of stress and worry. Anxiety creeps in, and bad habits are formed out of desperation. Slowly it builds, and it's a slippery slope into trying to hold everything together. Insert social media, and now not only do you already have feelings of inadequacy, but now it's the life that you wish you were living being flashed one perfectly cultivated image and catchy yet brilliant caption at a time. Thoughts of, ugh, I want that life are consistent thoughts that we feel, and our gratitude levels go down. So how do we combat that never-ending feeling of stress? I truly feel that we can all learn from Paula in allowing the positivity in, creating that foundation of gratitude, and allowing ourselves the grace when our story isn't to the chapter that our younger self predicted. This can help slow the progression of building those bad habits. Health and wellness is a factor that I'm sure can go unnoticed until we are unhappy with the whole picture. And allowing ourselves to consume media and friendships that don't serve us are also factors that create a life full of grief and yearning. So when you're scrolling through your feed or dreaming the big dreams of a calm life full of adventure, channel Miss Paula Roelands and remind yourself that you are in control and you can take back your life. Living a life full of stress is a choice, and there is help to get out of it. Thank you to Paula Roelands for being a wonderful woman who reminds us exactly how to live life to the fullest and to being a great role model to women on every level. Don't forget to come back next week where we have the brilliant Anna Lee Cunningham, and she tells us all about how movement and how we move our bodies is controlling our confidence and how we present ourselves to the world. She is in the studios and she will be talking to us about how we can move our bodies in different ways and gain that confidence back through our movement. If you like this podcast and found any value in my words, please like and subscribe, snap a picture and post it to your social media, and don't forget to tag me to get recognition in future episodes. That's a wrap.